Hey, howdy, hello. Man, today is 7 months since I planned this vinyl shootout. Several months of hunting stuff down. And finally, we've compared every single pressing. We got them ultrasonically clean today. Pulled up the graphs. We analyzed it because I reckon it's time to quell the rumors and dispel the myths. This is an acclaimed album that deserves the respect of a vinyl shootout of that caliber. So here we are today. We're gonna have a great time. If this is the first time you're popping in, I just want to tip my hat and say welcome, because we do stuff like this all the time. I got a full shelf here of vinyl shootouts. We're not just another react channel. We're not just another unboxing channel. We like to look not only in depth at the music that we love and jam it in the room and here for ourselves, but we like to hear from the community. We like to share and talk, give back to the beautiful community and industry that has given us so many beautiful tunes over the years. That's showcasing great bands and great people who make the music happen now. So we got all the pressings up there. Today's video is gonna be laid out in 3 sections. We got the first section, which is where I'm gonna lay out every single pressing in front of you. We'll analyze what each pressing kind of looks like, give you some general thoughts and takes on it. Then we'll take you to the graphs. We'll get nerdy. We'll show you the science behind what you're hearing in each pressing, and we'll look online and show you what people have been saying for years about each of the pressings. Comparing, it has been hoop after hoop to jump through to make sure that this vinyl shootout is in fact thorough enough, which is why I went to the extent of hunting down European pressings, sealed copies, 2022 variants, every single Wilco Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. So without further ado, I bring Yankee Hotel Foxtrot to you. Let's get into it. Here we go. And I've been waiting so long to show you guys this. It's been a long journey to get this. Here they are. They're actually 8 different pressings. I have 9 because I'm gonna do something special right off the bat. Yeah, this right here is a sealed 2002 original pressing of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, and we're gonna unbox. Let's let these down really quick. Kind of wild that I'm able to do this. Yeah, there it is in the shrink. Got an audiophile knife. You know that this is an original because it has the Sundazed logo on the bottom. Matches up exactly point for point with my opened Yankee Hotel Foxtrot 2002. It's got the same jacket bias. This was amazing. I was able to snag this for $70 plus $15 to ship it overseas. Here we go. Start on the bottom here. When I was buying this, the thought crossed my mind several times. You know, what if this was resealed over the years? What if this wasn't an official pressing? All of these different things. And price was too good to pass up, given that I had paid almost triple for the American version of this. I'm not even gonna leave the shrink on. Here goes the shrink. Corners are dented, small price to pay. Smells like Europe. This is side A and B. That's immaculate. Shiny. Really curious how it sounds, surface noise wise. I'll get it cleaned up. There it is. I'm actually gonna put it in a poly inner sleeve. Just a crease, that's it. This is a special day, so we're opening a sealed version, yes, but it's going to a good cause. And another immaculate disc. Not really seeing any hairline. There it is. Same printed inner. Beautiful, crispy inner spread. Back jacket. That's what you get if you order a sealed copy of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, the 2002. This is, in fact, a 2002 press, as evidenced by the amount of scuffs and wear. I'm pulling out side A and B here. You're gonna find, anything original with tons of wear. That original mastering though, and the original mastering is superb. There's something about the bass in the 2002 pressings, both Europe and America. They matched up identically and they sound unlike any other pressing. That's the 2008 and 2011 later included. Same jacket, inside spread, bring wear, edge wear, the whole deal. There they are, both with a white bias on the spine. Now we move into the US. Notice the yellow bias. Similar because it uses the same boldness of the font, the same boldness of the text on the spine, but the bias is definitely more yellow, and that's not just age. That's going to be your determining factor between these. Plus one other small thing you'll clearly note on this one. The barcode is smooth and goes all the way up to the bottom. They're both say Sundazed. It's a little bit deviated. Ooh, loads of scuffs. $2002 US. Now, we don't see any new represses till the 2008, which I have clearly marked with gaff tape, which will not be on your press. And we'll notice the bias difference between the 2002 and the 2008. There's also another difference, which includes a bonus CD. There it is. Different stamped dead wax information is immediately noticeable. Inside spread. (2008), 2011, which also comes with the CD and a hype sticker that says 180 gram vinyl. Very similar dead wax information. Next pressing. Spine information got slightly smaller on the 2021 version, even though it's very similar bias. Big old barcode. Next, we bring you 3 from 2022, the remasters. In order, the gold, the Indy cream, and the black. Start with the gold. Made in Germany. You also notice a little bit thinner font. The Nonesuch logo is different. Several things. Inside spread still the same. These are now just printed inserts instead of inner sleeves. So now, you've seen all the pressings. Let me go through a rundown of what each one cost. You'll be able to see a variety of different price points. Most noticeably was that 2022 black pressing for the cheapest price. Most expensive, the US original. But second place, 2008 pressing, which had loads of surface noise. Cost me $577. Let's go through them. This is my brand new, just recently unboxed 2002 European Sundazed. It's got very light constant surface noise, very occasional ticks, but super clean mastering, full dynamics. Noticeably cleaner side A with that white jacket bias. Still in an incredible listen. I'm excited to listen to it again. I'm sure the age has something to do with the sound quality. Would put money on it, and I have put several dollars into it now. We're going to talk about the US. Mine had some occasional surface noise on side D. Mastering was super clean. I was worried. Okay, I was very, very that there was an issue with my US pressing. It was my stylus. It was time to change out my stylus. So I got me a new Audio-Technica stylus. Everything was fine. Put it in, we're cruising. The mastering's super clean. I will say if you A/B the mastering from the 2000 compared to the 2022 version, you might think the 22 remaster is now the definitive version. Well, I gotta tell you, on vinyl, that 2002 has a very pleasant warmth. It was my favorite side C. That's Heavy Metal Drummer, I'm the Man Who Loves You, and Pot Kettle Black. Those sound immaculate. They're so explosive and dynamic and the most fun. Now, that's just my opinion, because there are elements that the future ones solve in the master. They really do bring out better balance. And the mastering is the same on the 2008, 2011. Did they use the same plates? Who knows? Like I said, once I got to Radio Cure, on side A was when my stylus started giving out. And I'm telling you, it was so annoyingly noisy that I knew it was time. So I took it apart and cleaned it, and it got a little bit better, but it was still super flat. That surface noise that you're getting with the old copy is drowned out in side C. So that's something I'm super happy to say really made my day play testing it. What's next here? Felt a little bit of residue, so I know this is in fact the 2008 Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. Includes a CD. The mastering was slightly flatter though on the vinyl. Still the super strong low end from that original mastering. I gotta tell you, this had the most constant surface noise. Not unlistenable, but unfortunately makes that sibilance so pronounced, and especially toward the intergroove distortion, it's just too saturated for me. And the rest of these pressings are gonna be only Nonesuch, no Sundazed on the label or the jacket or anything. Then 2011, this one also has the CD. Mastering was decent. It depends on how clean you get. A lot of people said this was definitive and this was the one to get. Well, it's really going to come down to the quality and condition of your pressing. Condition is everything. This was pressed by the Palace Group in the US and in Germany, a combination of plates. Not sure why. Sometimes they recut them because one goes bad. Sometimes they recut them because they're lazy. Who really knows? For whatever reason, maybe they improved the 2008 one or whatever on the 2011 one. Mine still had those light, constant crackles. And it's weak and weirdly saturated and muddy. Still, even after cleaning. And the drums, that's what you're missing out on the later pressings with this that we didn't realize until we had the 2022. The guitars are still pleasant, but not as crispy. And I think that's what you're losing. You're losing crispiness for warmth, and you're still risking it for sound quality. Now, you can get this for a lot cheaper than the 2002s. So that's something to consider. Maybe you'll be lucky with the super strong, super VG++ or near mint copy. I was not. So then the first copy that I ever heard, this was the 2021 pressing using the same mastering. Once again, treble's a little bit brighter, which might seem unpleasant if you're coming straight from, the other pressings. And I don't know if that's just age or not, or the age of whatever, because that was the first thing I noticed right off. This one is Germany. This is the first time it said made in Germany exclusive. A slight change of the plates again as it appears according to the information. But I gotta say, no pops, just occasionally. Absolutely no weird surface noise or sibilance. So they took care of that. Side D though is super weak. You get that noticeable amount of surface noise that really is comparable to any other press. You know, you may ask, well, how'd you double check it? How did you reference? Well, first of all, I referenced the standard McCartney 3 Japanese pressing. This thing's dead silent. It's a great point of reference if I'm ever feeling like, did I do something wrong? Did I need to check something, align something, clean it again? Just put on McCartney 3 and make sure I'm good to go. And the 2021 side D is ridiculously weak in comparison to everything else, maybe with exception to the 2008. Still available for great prices, so there's something to be said for that. Thank you, McCartney 3, for being a reliable pressing. Now, we're gonna get into the 2022s. So now the year is 2022. We have the amazing Chris Bellman, one of the best mastering engineers on the planet. That's not controversial to say. He cut the new plates. We got gold, we got Indie Cream, exclusive to indie record stores only, and standard black. Most of them available to the Wilco store and online, other places. They also put out a super deluxe version with tons and tons of bonus material, live content, alternate takes, all really cool stuff. Amazing process and works that went on that they talked about also in the film I Am Trying to Break Your Heart. It was an amazing film. Watched it several times, got the actual DVD. Wilco losing a member, fighting, struggling through the process of writing this album, and the legacy of this album kind of speaking for itself. Nevertheless, a lot of the 2022s are going to be really, really comparatively similar. The gold was incredibly pleasant in the mastering. Strong sub bass still, and that was noticeable on the digital too. Even though it's nice and warm and nostalgic feeling on the O2, you still get the strong sub bass on the vinyl. It's noticeable on Reservations. I felt it. I felt it in that song. And it's the most alive. It just brings out every beautiful nuance of all the different instruments. It's the crispiest drum sounds. There's no question about that. Next. This is my favorite of the 2022s. This is the indie exclusive. I just love how that goes so well with the cover. Get out of here, batteries. We don't need you. We'll charge you later. I think it was just made to be on this. It's beautiful. It looks delicious. It looks like a dessert. Like a cream puff. It's the same pleasant mastering as the other 2022s. You know, very light surface noise, somewhat noticeable, but not bad here. We're talking just slightly buried in the background, kind of start to pick it out on those quieter tracks. Mostly very occasional ticks. And we're talking very occasional. The least favorite, though, is side C, and I still think the 2022 Master is the weakest on side C. I think it feels the most radio-friendly, and it really doesn't explode like the other pressings that you'll get out of that old mastering. But that's not to say that the dynamics are not there. You crank this up, you're still getting every single dynamic that we loved in any other pressing. So crank it up. Then, lastly, the 2022s, we have the black. One thing I'll say that I love that they did in the 2022s is that they swapped out the printed inner for an amazingly polyline sleeve. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I'm proud of them for doing that. You still get the printed insert with the same lyrics and credits, but the vinyl is protected in those polyline sleeves. It's not going to scratch it, not going to cause problems down the road. You're still getting the same amazing master on the black. Now, a lot of people revert to black because it's more audiophile. Is it, though? The mastering's great, and it's really, 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 really quiet, like 90% of the time. In fact, it was more, sometimes, when I dropped the needle, I thought, man, this is going to be the one. This is going to be the definitive pressing. I cranked it up, still had occasional ticks. And again, A, B, and C, we're splitting grooves here. It was not bad at any point until we got to D. And for some reason, it was just so noisy. And it wasn't because stylus is dirty. I checked it against McCartney 3. Thank you, Paul. It didn't go away. Side D was noisy, and a lot of people were saying this, as we're about to find out on this particular pressing. For whatever reason, hit or miss. You'll get one good AB, one bad CD, or one bad D. It's really, really weird. But does that make it any less amazing to listen to? Closer to 20 times I've listened through this album, to the point where my clothes even match the cover. Yeah, it really didn't change the beautiful experience that you get on vinyl. That there are elements of the digital that are really nice, but this is the most pleasant Yankee Hotel Foxtrot experience on vinyl. Maybe the winner being that 2002 European Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. Let's hop over here and look at what people are saying. Don't cry. Jesus is not crying, and so we analyze the waveforms. Talked about my process and some of the most recent vinyl shootout, the James Blake one. Pull out the frequency analyzer, see how flat it is, look at it and see how much the treble jumps and the bass moves. There are just between these two, there are dynamic differences. Man, and you look at the beginning of the waveform right here. Just look and see how little surface noise is in the later pressing. It's not dead quiet, and then in the beginning of these leading grooves, it's pretty quiet right here up to this point. But dynamically, if we just take these two, I'll go ahead and compare them for you right now. Drum intro. We'll take these, the left and the right channels of the 2008 and the 2002 EU. We'll normalize them, bring all the peaks up to the loudest, and we'll see which one is louder, if there's any difference. I had to add 17.1 dB and 16.3, the same mastering. Exact same mastering. Will you notice that 1 dB less in the original? But it's there. In the room, I can start to notice about 1.5 to 2 dB. That it's very noticeable. I'll AB them right now and give you my reaction to these. I gotta be honest with you, the 2008 just has a little bit more unpleasant treble than the O2. But the guitars punch out a little bit more in that O2. I don't know what it is. The dynamics are smoother. There's just something smooth about the O2. Now I'll compare the US and the European. Identical in pretty much every single way across the frequency spectrum. Watching the snare hits to see where it falls, and there's more snare in the 2002. We're talking again like a couple dB, maybe. It's there though. I want to compare the 2021 to the O2 because I think there will be more differences given that the 2021 was pressed at Palace. The O2 was pressed Lord knows where. Yeah, more there on the O2. I don't know what happened. There's just more there on the original pressing. It was just instantly noticeable. There are just fewer dynamics in the 2021, even if it's cleaner, even if it's smoother in some way, less surface noise, maybe because it's a newer pressing and it's not aged over 2 decades or whatever. O2 still holds up. And lastly, we'll compare. I already know it's going to be an abrasive difference to the 2022 first to the 2021. I'm going to use the gold as a comparison. It's going to stand out a little bit. There are so many differences that just so clearly stand out. It is a crispiness, it is an aliveness that you get in the 2022 remaster. But you know what it is? It's that shaker, hi-hats, and anything, cymbals, the guitar strums, it's all up here now. And then all of it allows the low end and the mids to kind of float to their place. Before, with the treble suppressed to the level down here, it's like they were fighting a little bit more in these explosive songs. But here's the irony. The whole thing in the 2022 is just kind of all together, just a little bit more compressed. I don't know. There's no other way to put it. I'll prove that to you now by splitting the first 2 bars of the 2022. Just added 7.5 dB to the US original. These peaks are so smooth. I just added 10 dB. I mean, it was cut softer, so there's that element, but Look at how smooth the peaks are on that versus US right here. Look at the jumps and how it goes back down again, especially this hit right here. It is more dynamic on the O2, and that's just all there is to it. Now, there's something to be said about the smooth, buttery mastering of the 2022 version. They fixed some of the imbalance at the expense of the, I don't know, it feels like a different recording. The vocals do sound great though, and that is something that it does, especially on Jesus Etc., songs with a strong Jeff Tweedy front. The other instruments are more alive in the 2022, and Jeff Tweedy definitely has a strong stance in the master. But it's almost like the difference between the new Revolver remix in 2022 versus the original Beatles Revolver. It feels jarring how different of a recording it is. Not bad or good, just different and noticeably different. Now we're gonna hop on the internet to Discogs. We're gonna look through every single pressing, what people are saying, what people are dying to know. We're gonna answer some of them. Wilco, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. And we're gonna start with the 2002 Sundazed Nonesuch. This is the US pressing, 180 gram. As we zoom in here, we'll see it's licensed to Sundazed. That'll be a difference between this and any of the other pressings that aren't 2002. Tells you where it's recorded. Limited to 5,000 copies as indicated by the hype, although no indication is present on the jacket, according to that. That's the Matrix run out, and mine did match up with that. It's stamped Wilco on every side. That's the first pressing. And here's a nuance that this very top comment is bringing out, the most recent one at this time. My copy seems to have an alternate version of Kettle Black, which doesn't include the fade out from the CD release. I have only this original vinyl release, so I cannot speak to the other reissues. You probably have the Sundazed first pressing. If so, it is the best sounding pressing available of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. Keep it very hard to find. I'm gonna go ahead and compare for myself because I need to know right now for you, the Kettle Black where it does the guitar twangy thing and then ends like that instead of a slow and gradual fade out. We'll find out. Well. Oh, Tyler, the Creator, just fell off. Sorry, bud. By the way, I'm going to be unboxing Tyler, the Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost Deluxe Edition when it comes sometime closer to the fall. They never stay on that spot. Put that on the vinyl Shootout shelf for now. Yeah, 2022 has the fade out. 2021 doesn't have the fade out. Bow down. Doesn't have the fade out. 2011. There it is again on the 2008 pressing. Holy moly. This is the 2002 US pressing. And it has a fade out. So, there you go. That's the Sundazed label right there. It keeps calling the Kettle Black to infinity. Does not come to a complete stop. And now, I will play for you my immaculate, newly unboxed Sundazed European pressing straight out of the shrink, exactly as if you would have bought it today. Let's see if you called the Kettle Black for infinity. There's the fade. By the way, that sounded better than anything I'd ever heard of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. That is immaculate. This is going to stay in my collection. That's what that means. Condition means everything when it comes to these pressing. Wilco, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. There you go. Only the 2008, only the 2011 do not have the fade out. The rest of them do. Someone said mine came with a vertical gatefold Yankee Hotel Foxtrot hype poster. Anyone else have this? I wonder if that was just stuck in there after the fact, because I don't see any information about that. Superior pressing in every way imaginable, worth every penny paid. Seriously, I agree. Picked this up at a record show just before COVID for $20. Vendor didn't even know it was Sundazed, or didn't even know there was a different press. Last night, gave it a spin. All I can say is this is the best I have ever heard this recording. It is so far superior to the 2008 reissue, which I had always thought to be good, that it's hard to explain. The easiest way to describe it is the music flows with such realism and liquidity from the speakers. Feels as though the band is in the room. There's a newer 2020 reissue with the Sundazed logo on the back, but that one is not so good. Well, we've already disproved. I don't know a lot about Sundazed and their processes. Older recordings can sound so much better. This record is also evidence what a difference the mastering of a record makes. So let me clarify a couple things. Only Sundazed logo appears on the 2002 variants. Every single other variant has Nonesuch, and the newer ones have an updated version of the Nonesuch logo. The Sundazed stuff does sound amazing. It was worth every penny to me. I happened to get one in the shrink that was still a little bit dented, but sounds immaculate, as I've just found out right now. Conditions everything. The mastering is the exact same. It comes down to pressing quality, and that's why you got to play grade your stuff. Finally found a clean copy of this original Sundazed, and I can safely say that I prefer it over the later reissue. In this cut, the vocals are much more focused. The soundstage feels so very natural. It has a softness to it that suits the LP perfectly. That's a good word to describe it, soft. Really nostalgic and warm. Reissue's very good, but the upper mid-range is exaggerated. I don't necessarily agree with the exaggeration. I imagine this was to make the vocals more present and prominent, but it ends up sounding a bit harsher and distracting. Both are a good option, but this one edges out the reissue. Well, I just described the recent remaster. We're talking about 2022 now. I wouldn't say harsher and distracting, but I will say it's louder, more alive. It's got great sub bass. It was properly redone on most of the tracks, but it doesn't blow it away when you talk about side C. The side C, that's I'm the Man Who Loves You, that's Pot Kettle Black, and Heavy Metal Drummer. Feels like you're pressing play on the radio, and the radio station has basically cranked it up to the point where everything's a flat line. That's the difference between the remaster and the original master. Really long review that I'm not gonna read. So much music held within the grooves. It's such a beautiful album. It is, it really is. So we'll skip over that. One of the best sounding records that I own. Original Summer Teeth wasn't so great on wax, but the 2009 remaster sounded great. Mastering's everything. Condition is even more important when it comes to vinyl. Play grade your stuff. My copy of this release included a warp disc 1, but not enough defect to interfere with the playback. Center hole was not cut cleanly and requires some attention. Noise floor is quite low, with a few occasional pops. Not cleaned even. Soundstage is very big with great separation. Great dynamics, I would add. Bottom end is good and frequencies are linear across the board. Even more linear on the remaster, oh boy. We've just examined. The highs are crisp and slightly bright. Mid-range is strong. And vocals have a very natural tone. Boy, if you think the highs are crisp on this one, you got to check out some crispy 2022. Guitars are accurate and delicate. Overall, a great mix and solid pressing. And tells the details of what they had. Now, what do they go for? You can get a decent condition one for about $175 to $300 if you trust sellers with almost no ratings. Surface noise at various points. That's kind of what you're looking at there. They remind you that you get the fade out on the 2002 variant if it matters to you. There's a couple different variants. Now I'm assuming these lacquers are cut by, there was most likely with stuff like this when you have side C and D lacquer cut by different people. It's really hard to know the differences. Unfortunately, you're kind of splitting hairs at this point because the mastering is basically the same. All of these lacquers were done really, really good. So if you happen to find this variant with the HL, It appears, according to this, that the track Pot Kettle Black has a different ending. Instead of the fade, this song has the few bars with the finishing chord. Mine did not. Gonna be really, really hard to find these that match up again. A lot of these from overseas, because this is the European variant. As we continue, we see another European variant with similar release, lacquer's cut with the HL and the MK, all sorts of variants. No information about these as well. And we look and see at the one I have. Notice it has the same lacquer cut by HL. This specifies that the Pot Kettle Black has a different ending than the CD. Well, I can clarify that mine matches up with this exactly, and that it does not have those few bars. It has that fade. Curious what people are saying. Amazing pressing. Get it before the reissue. Also, I have my question. I have variant 1. However, Pot Kettle Black is the fade out version. I thought this was a new press. Can anyone with variant 1 confirm their pressing? I have one of the 2011 repressings and runs with no fade. Not sure about the older pressings though. If your copy is a 2008, 2011, it's not gonna have Sundays. Not Sundays at all, but it will have, more than likely, that cool few bars with the chords. No fade. Such an amazing quality pressing. The sound is superb. Cover art is nice. And the music is amazing. May not be my go-to genre, but this album is a 10 out of 10. Interesting. If you wanted to buy one too, they're still kind of available, not in the United States, but elsewhere for close to $100. 75. Look at one other variant. Same deal with the MK, HL, different lacquer cuts. This is copy paste of the same thing about the Pot Kettle Black. We know that's incorrect. We verified that. Just different plates, probably just repressed it. There was all sorts of confusion around this time in 2002. They were switching off Sundays. It could have been as simple as the guy clocked in, picked up where the other guy left. Who knows? We don't see any new pressings till the test press pops up in 2008. There's a picture of it right there. That's the 2008 pressed by RTI test pressing, but these were pressed at Palace. A little bit of confusion because this says the German Palace and the United States Palace. Discrepancy. The later 2021 says made in Germany. That's the way they did it. If you wanted a 2008, you can get it for super cheap. I couldn't at the time when these were back in demand in September 2022 when the 2022s were coming out. Now you can grab them if you want. You get the CD as well. Then you don't see anything till 2011. Also get the CD, 180 gram. Pressed and manufactured. It says pressed by the German Palace, manufactured by the Palace USA. There's the P.USA and the dead wax to clarify. And here's what people are saying, a rarity amongst albums in the digital age. Wilco prefer reel-to-reel tape rather than recording on the digital equipment. Proper analog and absolutely top drawer sound, on par with the Beatles analog reissues. This is what vinyl's all about. Pretty sure they tracked this to DAT, no? This pressing is still king. 2011 they're talking about. Out of the original and the 2022 remaster, this one is still easily the best. 100% agree this specific pressing is the one to have. Don't forget the 2021 has the same matrices as the 2011. Found on both versions of the runoff. So this and the 2021, well, if we're talking about lacquer cuts, I think the difference is going to come down to pressing quality. Are your copies clean? It's going to be hit or miss, and you're going to have more than likely more of these available. This copy sounds superb. One of the best pressing I own. Comes in a beautiful tip-on jacket, polyline sleeves. The printed paper inner sleeves included separately. Seriously, a great package and great pressing for a classic record. It's good to know there are great sounding pressings of this version available. Hey, if you get one and it's super VG++ or near mint, keep it. We'll do an A-B comparison with my eagerly awaiting the result. Honestly, I still prefer the reissue only for the alternate ending of Pot Kettle Black. It doesn't fade like the original. Has a nice acoustic, but both sound very, very good. Yeah, they sound the same. They're the same master. Does this pressing have to be master like Sky Boost Sky? I do not believe so. Definitely my best sounding record. Wilco is made for vinyl. Only issue some pops on side D. specifically during Intro to Four Places and throughout reservations. Yep, other delicate songs elsewhere sound like dead quiet. Just got a copy and experience in Pops. Hey, you hate to hear about it, but it's just the reality. If I recall correctly, Sundazed touted their version as being from the analog tapes. Is that true that they scrambled up the CD order of the songs? Hold up. Nuh-uh. I'm Trying to Break Your Heart, Camera, Radio, Cure, War Wars, Jesus, Setter, Ash, American Flats, Heavy Metal Drummer, I'm the Man Who Loves You, Pop. Kettle Black, Poor Places, yeah, no, that's the same. Stop projecting your lies. We're checking the 2008 as well. I'm Trying to Break Your Heart, Camera, Radio, Cure, War, Jesus, Setter, Ash, American Flats, Heavy Metal Drummer, I'm the Man Who Loves You, Pop, Kettle Black, Poor Places, Reservations. That's the standard. Now, if you rip the CD a different way, then that's how you're going to get it out of order. But these are copy and pasted times a million, so I doubt there's going to be any variation at all. I'm going to tell your family that you're lost on the sidewalk. And no, it's not okay either. Well, I imagine that's just an error. I'm surprised more artists don't tinker around with having different track orders. That's what you're looking at with that. It's worth noting the Pot Kettle Black does not fade out in this edition. There's a true ending to the song. It surprised me when I first heard it. One of the greatest albums I've ever purchased. Yeah, people love the original mastering, and it's great if you can get a clean copy. These still go for $35, $40, super clean. Now, will you be able to get any sealed? Not for what you could get an original for. But hey, people are saying this is the standard one. It's the same mastering. It's got a CD too, so you may want to go that direction as well. Next one that pops up after the CD in 2015, which we're going to safely ignore, the 2021 vinyl reissue. 180 gram. No CD, says made in Germany, originally released by Sundazed, but you'll never see Sundazed ever again. And you will see the Palace USA stamp, side C and side D. This was the one where my D was pretty butchered. Remastered by Bob Ludwig. Cut by Chris Bellman is being released on September 30th, 2022. I'm sure it will sound fantastic. And it does in a lot of ways. Sounds great, pretty much flawless other than a couple of rotations in a row that had a click, but not complaining. I'm worth mentioning, I don't even know why I'm saying this. Drums sound so good. If you like drums, you need to check out the new mastering. Oh my goodness, the drums really pop. Some songs, again, kind of radio-ish and not as nuanced maybe in the original recording, but splitting grooves on that one. Great soundstage, great high quality, and look at the prices. Pretty good. It's really hard to get these mint. That's the deal. CD included, and some of these people are not listing the correct listing. You got to be careful. You can ask them to check the dead wax. You can double check. But any of these prices are going to be the same as long as the condition is good. Then, got a bunch of different boxes. We'll go through those after we go through the ones I showed you, which start with the gold. There it is. There's the center label. Pretty available. Very clean pressing. Oh, these are not available for under $50 though. Gold limited edition, only available from Wilco. Packaging differences, there's a new barcode and completely different runouts. People saying very happy. Records are dead flat, quiet, clean. Mastering is also quite good. Soundstage now. Unlike the disastrous white cream version, which had a horribly warped second disc, this copy might be the version to get. The music sounds livelier than I remember. It's hitting the nostalgia button hard. That goes to show you that it can both hit the nostalgia and be lively. Gives you a different experience. Most people listening to this now, especially on streaming, a lot of the old versions have been sort of replaced in that sense with this new master. That sounds great. And if you're one of those people, I got to tell you to go back and check out I'm the Man Who Loves You, Heavy Metal Drummer, Pot Kettle Black on the original. There's something magical about those particular performances and mastering. This person's saying the second spin clean sounds better than the reissue. You see why I was confused by all of these different variations. Let's talk about the cream one. There were some complaints on this one more than any other pressing. Hype sticker, indie exclusive, made in Germany. No one has even put the runouts. It's the same ones though. This person's saying this one could be the best sounding records in my collection. The more I listen to it, the more impressed I am. It's a fine pressing. Let's see the complaints. If you can process to land a clean one, it sounds fantastic. So disappointing. Sound is fine, but packaging isn't a tip-on jacket. The vinyl discs are both warped and feel flimsy. Don't be seduced by the colored vinyl. Be on the lookout for a 2011 repress. Why should a 2002 title as Yankee Hotel has a tip-on jacket? 2 copies of this release had bad warping. Minor ticks and pops, some sibilance, but the soundstage is deep and wide. I don't know what they're talking about with the sibilance. Mastering was immaculate. It just goes to show you there's deviations between pressings. Play grading, cleaning, all of that affects so much. Here's the black. This is the 2022. Same deal. It's got the Chris Bellman runouts. They're all the same in 2022. Absolutely perfect pressing. Flat, quiet, dynamic, warm, open, and mastered perfectly. This is why I love vinyl. It's like I'm hearing it in high quality for the first time. Sucks for those who had the whooshing, but it's not the pressing as a whole. Must have just been a bad batch. It's the same deal. Some people complain. Very, very available. Oof, you can get it for 20. You can get it for $32. Sealed pretty much anywhere in the world. Definitely around 40. Did I look at the cream? Yeah, cream's the same deal. In fact, these are 29 plus shipping. Let's go ahead and show you the different box options because it kind of overwhelmed me when they popped up all of these different box variations. The first option you got was the 5 LP. 5, 7, and 9. 5 LP, you get 39, and that's how you distinguish it right there, the number of previously unreleased tracks. You get Unified Theory of Everything, which has those different variations, mostly done by Jay Bennett as well, R.I.P. Jay Bennett. Then you got some performances from these different sessions. Snoozing at the Pageant, where Jeff Tweedy kept talking about how Wilco's snoozing is the new awesome. Everything's snoozing, and then by the end of the set's like, yeah, I don't like calling it snooze anymore. It's kind of lame. There's all kinds of confusion. So 5 tracks from this one are on vinyl in this set, but are on the CD and the Super Deluxe. So basically you have to get both Super Deluxe and either this one or the 7 LP in order to get everything if you're a Yankee Hotel Foxtrot completionist. That's just kind of hilarious that you would have to spend somewhere like $500 to get all of this on vinyl physically. But these are going for cheaper now. This is the 5 LP. You can get it for $130, $150. Cool. So then you can get the 7. There's obviously color variations as well. You get American Aquarium. This is just like little boop boop beep beep versions or weird like outtakes, nuanced versions as they're making the album. You can hear little bits and pieces. Here Comes Everybody as well. Interesting to hear some of these on CDs, some of these on vinyl. Made in Germany is another thing to note. And for whatever reason, these are very available. This is the CD version. No vinyl on that one. Then if you want the vinyl, you can basically get it on black, silver, or red. According to this, here's the Super Deluxe Edition. It looks like standard black. 82 previously unreleased version. There's your vinyl variant. So that, Lonely in the Deep End, Snoozing at the Pageant. I like how they call them all Z's. Manufactured by Optimal. Optimal usually has a good reputation, but that doesn't tell you very much until you hear it for yourself. Got a hardcover book, got all the bells and whistles. Similar frustrating problems as others have reported. I'm on my second copy. First set had a number of slightly warped and dished, no fill, all the QC problems. All right. Box set is a treasure trove. Surely among the best releases in my collection. Recommend getting this while you can. Seems a common theme. Everybody's trying to tell you to buy this like it's going to disappear. Looking at this with the lust I once was that Walmart, I know, has it for $150. They shipped in pretty solid packaging too. Was pleasantly surprised by that. Yeah, some slightly warped discs, whatever. This is a remarkable document. Even if it's also total overkill, given LP supply chain issues, whatever. They made it. If Jeff's your dude, like he is mine, Wilco loves me, baby. There you go. It goes to show you it doesn't matter where it's pressed if it don't sound good, and you can get these for pretty cheap, 150, 170. Here's the red gold. Looks very similar to the other gold variants, same deal. And the silver. I like the silver the best, with all these alternate variations of madness. There it is. It's all the Wilco your heart could want, and the people complaining. This one's the most expensive, closer to $300. Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. I'll show you this too. If you just want the cheapest version known to mankind, just sort this by price lowest. And you get $1 for $5.99 shipping, and it plays fine, no issues, no cover though. So that's kind of what you're looking at. Guys, thank you for taking the time to look through this with me. It means a lot that you stuck around for this long. Really hope that inspired you, helps you know, if you're looking at it for the first time, what you're gonna get, or if you've had several copies and we're just curious, what is the difference between all of these confusing variants? That dispelled the myths. Wilco, I love you, baby. What an amazing album for the time. Still stands on its own 2 legs, 2 decades later. It's gonna stand to test of time into the future. And please come back again and see me. We got a ton of vinyl shootouts left. Are you kidding me? Next in line, it's the lovely album from Boy Genius, another amazing folksy band. Got every pressing of it. Compare and contrast, just like I've done this. We're gonna react to what some people are saying in celebration of the release of my personal album of the year. So we'll get into that. In the meantime, thank you so much. Keep on grooving your way.